Today we are talking about personal branding and I'm super excited about it. So if you guys are watching on the Facebook, if you could give StreamYard permission to see who you are so that when you comment and have questions, I can address you. I've got massive notes to cover today. So this is going to be so good. So good. If you have not hung around me for a very long time, I love everything about personal branding. I love it, love it, love it, love it. I am a systems and process girl, but I also love design and I love personal branding and I love helping you put yourself, your best foot forward out into the world. So, let's talk about personal branding, you guys. I'm going to use my notes so I don't forget anything. I lined it all out. Hopefully, we'll have an efficient use of everyone's time. So, personal brand. First, there's three things that our personal brand does, right? It says who you are, it tells people what you do, and it tells people what you value, right? So, we're going to break each one of those three down. You might want to get a piece of paper, take some notes, because this is going to be meaty today. It's going to be a little meaty. So, first of all, who you are. You need to make sure that you guys always are showing up at your highest level. Okay. None of this airing your dirty laundry on camera. I mean, come on, who's attracted to that? You're going to attract what you give. So if you want to attract people who air their dirty laundry online, then that's exactly what you should do. If you want to attract people who are incredibly opinionated about politics or fill in the blank XYZ, then that's what you should do because those are the people that are going to be drawn to you. If you want to be controversial and you'll attract controversial people. If you want to attract high level business people, then you need to show up as a high level business person, period. I know a lot of you guys are in the network marketing space. If you want to attract leaders in the network marketing space, you need to show up as a leader in the network marketing space, period. You give what you get, okay? Or opposite of that, you get what you give. So you need to know who you want to attract. We call that an ideal client, okay? Or a niche for some. Some would call that a niche. You need to always make sure that whatever you do, when you show up, you're being real and authentic. Everybody has bad days, you guys. And you can come on and be real and authentic and admit that you're having a hard time in life, whatever, business. Just don't air the dirty laundry. Make sure that it comes off in a professional manner, okay? I think when you can come across as real and authentic, that draws people to you. It knits you together because they identify with you as a real person, right? We don't want any of these Instagram filter moments, although there's nothing wrong with a good filter every once in a while. So, who you are. Be real, authentic, be you. God created you with something special. So show up as that. All right. What you do. So I think that it is weird if people don't know what you do. I'm going to repeat that for those of you in the back. I think it's weird when people don't know what you do. For whatever reason, there are some jobs, some businesses that people have a view of maybe less than. I'm going to stay in the network marketing space. Okay. So let's talk network marketing. There, for whatever reason, there's a stigma surrounding network marketing. I think mostly because there are people who do it really badly. Don't be one of those people. But also, if you are in the network marketing space, don't be afraid to say, hey, I'm in the network marketing space and this is why I love it. Be proud of what you do. Be proud of your business. Be proud of who God made you to be and the calling that He has put on your life. Okay. So we all know that confidence is key. If you show up unsure of yourself and you give off that vibe and that energy, who's going to be attracted to that? Nobody. And so confidence is key. Show up confident, be 100% sold out, and people are going to be attracted to that energy. You need to up level the energy vibration that you give out, you guys. When you are passionate about something, like I have literally had people tell me that when I start talking about business strategy and branding, that they can see me lean forward and my eyebrows go up and I lean in. When you are working in your genius, that's how you show up. You're going to lean forward. You're going to be confident. Don't second guess it. You know what God's put in your heart. And if He's put it there, He's going to equip you to do it. So show up confident. It is never truly about you. He's put you here to solve a problem. So make sure that you know what problem you solve. Okay. We're going to break that down in just a little bit, talking about our I am statements or I help statements. Okay. So put a pin in that, but make sure that you know that you are a problem solver. That's what you were created to do. In the world, it's so great that God created no two people alike. So even if you have the same giftings and abilities as somebody else, you're not going to show up in the same way that they do. And you're not going to solve a problem the same way that they do. And your tribe will be attracted to what you bring to the table. So be confident in that. Be confident in what you do and how you do it. And your people will find you. I promise. And it's okay. Have you guys heard the attract and repel thing? You don't want to, nor should you, nor can you serve all the humans. We can't serve all the humans. So you need to attract the ones that are meant for your voice, and you need to repel the ones that are not. If I am a big numbers girl. And so when I have I have my email list, I have my text list. And when I see people unsubscribe to one of those, my gut reaction is, oh, somebody left me. They don't like me. But in reality, that is getting me a cleaner list because they are opting out because what I am giving them does not serve them. And that is totally fine. They need to go find the people that serve them. And if it's not me, I'm okay. I'm okay with that. That is a mindset shift that I constantly have to make. It's not easy, but knowing your niche, knowing who you help and how you help them is going to solidify your personal brand so that you really are able to serve those people well. And that is your goal. Okay, so part 3 of your personal brand is what you value. Y'all, beanies sometimes make my head itchy. Anybody else? What you value. So I call these brand pillars or brand values. There are different names from out there for them out there, but typically you want to have 3 to 5 brand pillars that are going to help you craft your content. Okay. And anytime you show up, you need to be talking about at least one of those pillars. Sometimes you'll hit multiples in the same post or the same live, but you need to be talking about at least one of them every time you show up. Also show up consistently, right? Yes. So what pillars, what values do you have for your business? What is going to help you serve your niche or ideal client well? What 2 to 3 problems do you solve and how do you uniquely do it? So my brand pillars, so the things that you might see when I show up are faith almost every time. I hope every time, but almost every time. My family, you're going to see my family. They're important to me. You're going to see my business. Okay. There's lots of tentacles to that, but you're going to see me talk about my business. You will probably see me talk about my dogs because my kids are all grown up and mostly out of the house. And so the dogs are here, the fur babies, right? So you're going to hear me talk about the fur babies. And inspiration is a big thing for me. So I would consider that one of my pillars. I love inspiring people to go to the next level, whatever that looks like for them. Okay. So take a few minutes and write down what your brand pillars are or what you think they might be, and you can craft those. It may take you a little while. It's not something that you have to do, have all 5 of them nailed down right away. It's okay if you don't. But That is something that is going to make sure that your brand stays consistent, that you're not all over the place, that one day you're not talking about purple unicorns and the next day you're talking about cars. I don't know. Those things seem very far away to me from each other. So you need to make sure that your brand is consistent. And if you stick with posting about these 3 to 5 pillars, it's going to make sure that people become very familiar with you and your brand and what it encompasses so that they know that you're who they go to for that. Okay. Does that make sense? If you guys have questions, pop them in the comments because I'm going to come back to them. We'll answer some of them live, and for sure, I'll check back on the replay and see if you guys have questions. So let's get super practical. I think that a lot of people, when they think personal branding, they think, oh, I need a logo and I've got to have some colors and what fonts am I going to use? And yes, all of that is important. Okay. Your brand encompasses a lot more than that, which is what we just covered. But I do want to talk a little bit about logo and colors and brand names and things like that, because that's the practical nitty gritty of the visual part of your brand. Okay. I call that visualizing your brand. So let's talk about brand name. I highly recommend that if you have a business, you go out and you get that URL. Even if you're not using it as a website right now, whatever your business name is, go get your URL. You can go to GoDaddy.com, you can do a search, and if it's not available, get something that's close. Okay. I also highly recommend that you use your own name when appropriate, because people connect with names a lot easier than they connect with nebulous brands or business names. So my business is Deconstructing Digital, but my brand is jantouchberry.com or JT and Co. So I have all of those URLs. I actually have quite a few more. I'm kind of a URL junkie, but it's better to have it now and not be using it than to not be able to get it when you need it. Um, I think my Wi-Fi is low, you guys. Hopefully it doesn't get off for you. Weird. Okay. Anyway, so tagline. Remember I said we would come back to your I help statement? That's what we're doing now. Okay. So if you don't have paper, I want you to get paper. If you don't have it and you're not at a place where you can get it right now, you can come back to this because this will always be here for you. But I want to talk about your I help statement. Okay. So you need to know who you help. Like, for instance, my I help statement is I help entrepreneurs simplify technology, strategize and automate their businesses so they can maximize their income potential. I should have that memorized, but I actually had to write it down. So let me say that again. I help entrepreneurs simplify technology, strategize, systematize, and automate their businesses so that they can maximize their income potential. Okay. So let's break down. How do you do that? So you need to, first thing, who you serve. I help entrepreneurs. Or if I wanted to niche it down even further, I help female entrepreneurs. Okay. Problem you solve. Technology. People are afraid of it. They're overwhelmed by it. So I help them break it down to a simplified level, systematize and automate it. All right. So what's the solution? Well, for me, it's helping those people maximize their income potential using the tools and tips and strategies that I give them. Okay. So it's who you help, the problem that you solve so that they can. All right. Got that? Okay. Take a deep breath, everybody. Let's talk about logo. So, It is always good if you have a business to invest in some professional photography. I'm a firm believer in it. I don't think it has to be super expensive, but it's also not you selfieing all the time. All right. You're going to have to invest in yourself and your business and get some professional photography. But your logo doesn't have to be you, it can be a design of some sort. In fact, most of the time it is. You actually, I need to update the logo, but you'll see up in this corner, up in the, I guess it's probably your top right corner, is my old Side to Hustle collaborative logo. Um, so you want, when you're thinking through logo, you need to think about the feelings that you want your logo or your brand to evoke from people who come across it. Okay. So I actually have a brand worksheet that has a ton of different adjectives on it. And you don't have to have the worksheet if you don't want to. Although stay tuned and I'll tell you how to get that for free. Just get a pen and a piece of paper and write down a list, okay? Write down a list of adjectives, words that you want people to feel or emotions that you want them to feel when they are working with you, when they come across your brand or your logo or whatever, okay? Write down those words. You may have a list of, I don't know, 15, 20 more if you're a word person. Excuse me. And then go through and circle maybe the top 5 or 6, okay? Max 10. Those are the words that you're going to want to focus on when you're designing the rest of your brand and what it looks like, okay? So then after you've got your words, right? You firmly got your words. Like my words are courageous, strong, movement, casual. I'm not fancy, I'm casual, right? That's the beanie. Um, I am not glitzy. I am more free people, if that's a descriptor. Anyway, so know what you want, and what you don't want. Know what you don't want. I'm not a glitter girl, right? I'm more of a plain Jane, clean look. I'm not a frilly person. I don't like a lot of I like clean lines, clean colors, clean backgrounds, things like that. But there are other people who like a lot of floral and all of that stuff. So figure out the feelings that you want it to evoke. And then what you're going to want to do is go online and look up um, color psychology. All right. And so you're going to type in some of your keywords and it's going to bring up colors that when people look at those colors, it actually causes them to feel the words that you are wanting them to feel. For instance, yellow. Yellow is a happy color. Okay. Orange is a happy color. Red is a power color. Red, be very careful with red because it also is like it can cause angst. Blue signifies trust and peace and calm. Green is calming, it's growth. So you can type in the words that you want, and then it'll come up with all these colors that you can use to make people feel the way that you want them to feel when they come across and work with your brand. All right. Don't pick too many colors. I would say max 5, but typically you're going to have a few that are like the solid colors that you use all the time that people know are you. They're associated with you. And then you'll have some accent colors. Okay. Next, let's talk about typography. Y'all, believe it or not, the fonts that you use matter. It matters if they're legible. It matters if they go right in line with all of those colors and with the feelings that you wrote down in your list, okay? So typography has a lot to do with your brand. So what you're going to want to do is, again, you can use Google and look for, let's say a couple of your main feeling words were fun and clean. So fonts that are fun and clean in Google and see what comes up. Okay, you're going to want to have a max of 3 fonts. Typically, you'll have one that's like a headliner or that you use just sporadically as like a pop. That for me is my script font. I don't use it very often, usually just for headlines or maybe to pop one word out of a sentence. Then you're going to have your main font, which is used for the body of the paragraphs. And then you're going to have your accent font, which is something that would be like for if you have a picture in a blog post and you're doing a caption on the picture, you would use that accent. Um, and so it's not used very much either. It's kind of like what you would use your headline font for. Sporadic, okay? 3 fonts max, and make sure that they go together, okay? If you guys use Canva and you type in typography, you can actually pull up, um, they'll give you typography groups. So they've already tested what fonts go together. You can also Google which fonts go with Helvetica or which fonts go with Britney Script or, whatever. And use the intelligence that is the internet. They will help you decide so it's not so overwhelming. I know that if you don't consider yourself a designer, these types of things can be like so overwhelming that you just don't do anything. You just are stuck, right? So let's not get stuck. It's okay. And just 1 to 3 fonts, it's what you want, and you're gonna use that and your colors all the time, and people are gonna start to know, "Oh, this is her brand. This is her brand. This is her brand," right? Alright, let me make sure that I'm not missing anything on these. Okay, so let's talk about logo design. Again, I'm gonna point you to Canva. If you don't feel like you can do it yourself, you can pay for it to get done. There are some sites like Fiverr, Fiverr, I think it's 2 R's, Fiverr, that you can get a logo fairly cheap, but I'm telling you, you can very likely do it yourself in Canva. Um, I, um, I mentioned the, branding adjectives worksheet that I'm gonna give you at the end. I'll also give you a little tutorial about how you can do your own logo in Canva for free. So it's super easy. They have tons of templates. They've got paid templates and free templates. So if you do not have the paid version of Canva, which if you're going to design stuff, I highly recommend that you invest in it. It's a tax write-off, and you get so much more opened up to you inside Canva, and it's not that expensive, you guys. But you can go in Canva and use one of their templates and find things that, again, evoke the feelings that you want your people to feel when they come across your brand. And then just customize it with your font, with your colors. Good to go. Simple as that. Simple, simple, simple. You guys have any questions so far with what I've covered? Drop them in the comments. Drop them in the comments. I know this is a little bit longer, but this is a meaty one. And I hope that you guys get a ton of value out of it. Okay. So let's see, questions. Who do you want to serve? What do you want to be known for? Or what do you want to be the go-to or expert in? Okay, these are all questions that you should be asking yourself to kind of help you formulate what your brand is. What's your specialty? Mine is automation and systems. I love it. Branding. I love it. And then you need to make sure that you come across as the expert in those things because you want to be on the top of mind for your ideal clients or your ideal audience, your niche, when they think about that. So for branding, I want my people to think, oh, I should call Jan. She's a branding professional. I should call Jan. She knows about automation. I should call Jan. She knows about systems and how to systematize my business. So I want to be the go-to person in that space, right? Figure out what your space is and then figure out what you need to do to educate yourself, to level up. What skills do you need to improve on so that you can be known as the go-to person in that space? Okay. It's kind of that competitive edge. The truth is that nobody is going to come to you with branding exactly like I am. Might we say some of the same things? Sure. But we're not going to present it in the same way. I have a whole course on a texting service called Project Broadcast. You can find all that business online on YouTube for free. But I'm telling you, I've heard multiple times from women who have taken that course. I tried the tutorials, I didn't understand. But when you walked through it in your class, something clicked and I understood. So I communicate things differently than other people in the same space that I am, even though we're saying the same types of things. So you are your competitive edge. Look at me in the eyes. You are your competitive edge. You make sure your skills are sharp. You make sure you know what you're bringing to the table, and you bring it in the way that only you can, because you are your own competitive edge and you will draw people to yourself. All right. So if you guys have any questions on branding, there is so much more that we could go into, but we're not going to do that in today's training because we're already at 27 minutes and I want to honor your time. So, I've mentioned a couple of times a free download. Well, this is actually a little bit more than a download. It's a mini course that I did a few years ago. So a little bit older, but it's still very, very relevant information. It's called Visualizing Your Brand. And so it's a 5-part, pretty short. I think you can watch it within 30 minutes or so. If you're stopping to do each piece, it's going to take you a chunk of time, but I'm going to give you guys that for free today. All you have to do is text in the word branding, and I'm going to write this in the comments. Text branding to this number, and I'm going to shoot you guys a link to access that course. You can work through it at your own pace. And let me know if you have any questions about it. I'm free to answer them. I would love to help you get your personal brand on point so that you can feel good and not stuck about where your business is going, how to move forward so you can be helping more people with your genius and maximizing your income potential at the same time. How's that sound?